Nothing happens all at once. You just stay lonely long enough that attention feels like being rescued. And by the time you've noticed what the attention wants from you, you're already inside. Randy Kutcher is River Ward's nephew, and he's the reason River keeps getting pulled back into cases that he can't walk away from. See, Randy, he doesn't start as a target. He's not reckless. He's not arrogant. He's not violent either. He's just tired. He works long nights. He sleeps during the day. He keeps his head down and avoids trouble. He's the kind of guy who thinks if he stays small long enough, that the city won't notice him. And Night City teaches people this early, that visibility is dangerous. So Randy does what a lot of people do. He withdraws. Not fully, but just enough. He stops reaching out to people unless he has to. He stops asking questions that don't have clear answers. He stops expecting help to actually arrive. His life becomes narrow, safe on the outside, but quietly empty on the inside. And that's when something finally finds him. Not with violence, not with threat, but with attention. Someone sees him. Someone listens. Someone treats his isolation like it matters. There's no pressure. There's no urgency either. Just a pure connection. And when you've been invisible long enough, connection feels like relief, like rescue, like oxygen. So Randy, he leans in. And at first it looks harmless. You know, online conversations, shared grievances, people who understand what it feels like to be overlooked. The kind of spaces that tell you, you're not broken, the world is. And see, that's comforting because it removes responsibility without removing dignity. You're not weak, you're just misunderstood. So Randy keeps showing up. He keeps listening. He keeps letting the walls soften. And slowly, almost politely, the tone changes. The conversations turn inward, then exclusive, then conditional. Trust then becomes currency. You're told who can be trusted and who can't, who's lying to you and who's part of the problem. It isn't dramatic, it's gradual, the way influence always works. And here's the part people miss about Randy Kutcher. He doesn't make a bad choice. He makes a series of reasonable ones. Each step feels justified in isolation. You don't jump, you drift. And drifting doesn't feel like danger. It feels like rest. And then at some point, Randy is invited somewhere out of his routine, out of isolation, into something that feels purposeful. A trip, a promise, a chance to belong somewhere that's not judging him for being quiet or tired or even ordinary. No alarms go off. I mean, why would they? Nothing about this looks like a trap. It looks like an exit. And maybe that's the most dangerous thing that Night City offers. An exit that asks for nothing, at least up front. So Randy goes. And that's the last time his life belongs entirely to him. And by the time his family realizes something is wrong, he's already gone. Not vanished in a dramatic way, not screaming for help, just absent, disconnected, unreachable, unrecoverable. And the city logs it as a disappearance, a statistic or a line item. But the truth is quieter than that. Randy didn't disappear. He was claimed. He was claimed by Anthony Harris, a man who didn't need force. He learned how to weaponize loneliness by systems that don't take people. They take permission. And here's the part that nobody wants to sit with. See, Randy didn't give permission because he was foolish. He gave it because he was hopeful. And if this story makes you feel uncomfortable, it should. But not because it's extreme, but because it's familiar. Because none of this starts with violence. It starts with withdrawal, with telling yourself, I'll re-engage later, or this is temporary, or I just need space right now. And you know what? Maybe that's true for a while. But isolation doesn't stay empty. Something always moves in. I mean, think about how this happens outside of Night City. Not as kidnappings or crimes, but as jobs that stall your future, or as relationships that slowly replace your judgment, as ideologies that offer clarity in exchange for obedience. See, you don't wake up one day trapped. You wake up one day inside. And the horrifying realization isn't that someone fooled you. It's that you stopped checking who was steering. Because being led felt easier than being alone. See, Randy's story isn't about being naive. It's about timing. The wrong influence arrives at the right moment. When you're depleted, disconnected, tired enough to stop asking what something wants from you. And that's not weakness. That's human. And what Night City does brutally, the real world does quietly. It doesn't break you. It waits until you stop reinforcing yourself. And when protection replaces autonomy, when belonging replaces discernment, when relief replaces responsibility, you don't notice the shift until there's no way back. And River Ward spends the rest of the story trying to undo what never announced itself, chasing consequences instead of decisions, searching for a moment that never actually existed. Because the truth is, there wasn't one catastrophic mistake, just math. See, you call it connection, you call it opportunity, you call it finally being seen, but I just call it math, because it all adds up. Randy Kutcher isn't tragic because he was taken. He's tragic because his disappearance started long before anyone noticed he was gone. And if that thought doesn't sit right, if it lingers longer than it should, that's not the story accusing you. That's recognition.